The stars outside the viewport shimmered like scattered diamonds on black velvet. The crew of the intrepid Horizon drifted silently through the emptiness, their ship humming with quiet energy. For most of them, space travel had become routine, almost mundane, but the journey ahead promised anything but ordinary. Ahead lay the ruins of an alien megastructure, a relic of a civilization that had vanished centuries ago. The structure was enormous, dwarfing even the largest ships humans had built. Its surface was smooth, metallic, and etched with symbols no one on the crew could fully understand. Yet the researchers aboard the intrepid Horizon had spent months preparing for this moment. The mission was to explore, catalog, and uncover the secrets of the megastructure. Kathira, the alien linguist, sat near the observation deck, her multifaceted eyes tracing the intricate patterns on the structure. She had spent years studying alien languages and symbols, and nothing had prepared her for this. The markings here were different, more alive, as if they were waiting for someone to decipher them. She reached out, touching the hull from the inside. "This is remarkable," she whispered. Her voice carried a hint of awe. "These symbols, they're not just decorative, they are instructions or maybe a message." Elias Ward, the human engineer, stood a few feet behind her, arms crossed. He had a habit of studying problems from a distance before jumping in. He watched Kathira with a careful eye. "Instructions?" Elias asked. "Or traps? Don't forget, anything left behind by an ancient civilization could be dangerous." Kathira smiled faintly, ignoring the warning. "Danger is relative, human. Some of us live for the unknown, don't you?" Elias didn't reply. He knew she was right, but caution had kept him alive in the far reaches of space. Still, curiosity pulled at him, as it always did. The captain, a calm and precise figure named Leora Vance, finally broke the silence. "We'll send in the drones first. No one touches the surface until we know it's safe. Kathira, your role is to analyze the patterns in real time. Elias, monitor the systems. Let's proceed carefully." As the drones descended toward the surface, the crew held their breath. The small machines glided over the alien metal, their sensors scanning for energy signatures, structural instability, or any sign of life. The readings were puzzling. The structure appeared inert, yet there was a subtle rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, buried deep in its core. "Lifelike energy," Kathira murmured, leaning closer to the monitor. "It's as if the structure itself is aware of us." "Don't anthropomorphize it," Elias said, but his voice lacked conviction. He, too, felt it, the sense that the ruins were not just empty, silent metal, but something more. The first drone reached the central entrance. Its lights revealed a doorway, massive and circular, covered with more symbols. Kathira gasped. "This is not a door, it's a test." "A test?" Leora asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yes," Kathira replied, her fingers tracing the patterns on the screen. "It adapts. It responds to behavior. It wants something from whoever enters." Elias frowned. "And if it doesn't get it?" Kathira's expression darkened. "Then it punishes." The human engineer's stomach tightened. He didn't like the sound of that word, but he didn't show it. He had faced danger before, and he knew the first step in survival was understanding the rules. The decision was made. A small team would enter the megastructure. Kathira led the way, with Elias and Leora following. The others stayed aboard the ship, monitoring their progress from the safety of orbit. As the airlock opened and the team stepped onto the alien surface, a strange silence greeted them. The air, though breathable, was thick with an unfamiliar energy. Every step they took echoed unnaturally, as if the walls themselves were listening. Kathira stopped in front of the massive doorway. "This is it," she said. "We have to be precise. Every movement, every touch, it counts." Elias glanced at her, then at the symbols. "Precision is fine, but don't forget, some of us don't read alien scripts like you. I'll follow your lead, but no sudden risks." Kathira nodded. "Agreed." She reached forward, pressing a symbol etched in the center of the doorway. The metal shivered under her touch, a low hum vibrating through the ground. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the doorway began to move, opening slowly. The team's eyes widened at the sight inside, a vast chamber filled with light that seemed to originate from nowhere. Strange machinery lined the walls, pulsing rhythmically. "This is incredible," Kathira breathed. Elias, scanning the readings on his portable device, frowned. "Something's wrong. The energy levels are fluctuating, like it's reacting to us. Stay alert." Kathira's eyes sparkled. "It's alive. I can feel it." The team stepped inside. The floor beneath them was smooth, almost like glass, reflecting the light from the pulsing walls. The chamber stretched endlessly, or at least it seemed so. There was no ceiling in sight, and the far walls blurred into distance. Kathira moved forward, her hand hovering over another symbol on the floor. She knelt, tracing it carefully. Elias watched her tense. "Kathira, wait," he said suddenly. "Check the sensors first. Don't just touch it." But curiosity got the better of her. Her fingers pressed the symbol, and a sudden jolt of energy rippled through the floor. The chamber shivered. "Ah!" Kathira exclaimed, stepping back. The energy pulse formed a visible pattern in the air, a lattice of light that trapped her in place. Elias reacted instantly. He lunged forward, positioning himself between her and the lattice. A second pulse hit him, and he staggered under the sudden weight. His body ached, but he did not fall. Instead, he wrapped an arm around Kathira, shielding her from the brunt of the energy. "Step back!" he shouted, gritting his teeth. Pain shot through him, sharp and overwhelming, but he did not let go. Kathira struggled, confused and frightened. "Elias, move, you'll—" "No," he interrupted, voice strained. "I've got you, just trust me." The energy continued to pulse, adjusting and recalibrating as if testing him. Each wave brought new discomfort, forcing him to bend, to resist, to endure, yet he stayed. He could feel every ache, every strain, but he focused on keeping Kathira safe. Minutes, or maybe seconds, it was impossible to tell, passed. The pulses slowed, then stopped. The lattice of light dissolved, leaving the chamber silent once more. Kathira looked at him, her expression a mix of awe and guilt. Why would you do that?" Elias sagged, leaning against the wall for support. His body protested with every movement, but he smiled weakly. "Because someone had to, that's what humans do." Kathira stared at him, realizing the depth of what had just happened. The structure, it seemed, had chosen its measure of worth, and Elias had proven it in the simplest, yet most profound way possible. The chamber was quiet now, but the sense of being watched did not leave. Elias pushed himself upright, wincing as his muscles screamed in protest. "We need to keep moving. This place, it's testing more than just our minds. It's testing our hearts, our choices." Kathira nodded slowly, still catching her breath. She had thought humans were fragile, reckless, but she had been wrong. This one human, with all his limits, had endured what none of the others could. The team pressed forward, deeper into the structure, each step echoing in the vast chamber. They had no idea what awaited them, but one thing was certain. The intrepid Horizon's human crew member had set the standard for what it meant to survive here. And whatever this alien structure was, it had just learned that humans were not to be underestimated. The walls pulsed faintly as they walked, almost in acknowledgement. The journey had just begun, and the ruins were far from forgiving. Every step, every choice would matter, and for Kathira and the team, the lesson was clear. In this place, mistakes were measured, and some could cost far more than comfort or pride. Elias glanced back at Kathira. "Next time, don't touch the symbols first," he said, voice tired but firm. Kathira smiled weakly. "Next time, I'll follow your lead." And so they moved onward, unaware that the megastructure had already begun its next series of tests. The silence outside was nothing compared to the trials within, and the team was about to discover just how much the ruins demanded, and how much they valued the strength to protect one another. The chamber had barely returned to silence when the floor beneath the team hummed again. Elias felt it first, a low vibration that ran through his boots and up his legs, sending a sharp warning to his muscles. He crouched instinctively, scanning the floor with his portable sensors. "Another test," he muttered. Kathira, still pale from the previous shock, nodded, her eyes wide with realization. The chamber stretched around them like an endless maze of glowing metal and strange symbols. Every surface pulsed faintly, as if alive. It was not just a building, it was a being testing them with every movement. "This is extraordinary," Kathira whispered. "The energy readings, they're reacting to our choices. It's learning from us." Elias grunted, rubbing his sore shoulder. "Yeah, it's learning that humans will put themselves in pain for others." He glanced at her. "And that's what it wants to measure." Kathira frowned. "Measure? Why? What kind of being tests like this?" Elias shook his head. "We'll find out. But one thing is clear, it doesn't measure strength. It measures something else, maybe loyalty, maybe willingness to protect." Leora stepped forward, her calm voice cutting through the tension. "We have to proceed carefully. This structure isn't just dangerous, it's adaptive. Every action we take changes the environment. The team moved cautiously, stepping onto a section of floor that glowed faintly beneath their feet. The light responded to each step, brightening and dimming as if counting them. Kathira's eyes darted across the symbols. It's not just the floor, it's the entire chamber. Every surface is a sensor, every symbol is a potential trigger. One mistake could, well, we've already seen what it does. Elias nodded grimly. We need to stick together, that's the key. They advanced further, reaching a corridor lined with what looked like vertical panels, each pulsing with soft light. Kathira moved forward, her hand hovering over one of the panels. Wait, Elias said sharply. Let me check the readings first. Kathira paused, then smiled faintly. I suppose humans are cautious by nature. As they walked, the panels suddenly brightened and a gentle hum filled the air. The hum grew louder, vibrating through the team's bones. Elias grabbed Kathira's arm. Step back, he warned. But before they could react further, the panels shifted, forming a lattice of light similar to the one that had trapped Kathira before. The energy flowed like a river, wrapping around her and pushing her toward the center of the corridor. Kathira gasped. Elias. Without hesitation, Elias stepped in front of her. The energy surged, but he did not move. Pain shot through his body like invisible needles, but he gritted his teeth and held his position. Stay behind me, he said, voice strained. I can take it. The other team members froze, unsure what to do. Leora placed a hand on a nearby panel, trying to calm the energy with her interface device, but the structure ignored her. The system was not interested in technical solutions. It was testing them. Minutes passed, or maybe only seconds. Time was distorted in the chamber. The energy pulses intensified, pressing on Elias with unrelenting force. His muscles screamed, his joints ached, but he did not let go of Kathira. Kathira felt a strange mix of fear and awe. She had seen humans endure hardships, but never like this. Elias' body bent under the pressure, yet his spirit remained unbroken. The energy finally slowed, the lattice dissolving as the structure acknowledged his endurance. Breathing heavily, Elias sank to one knee. Kathira knelt beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. Why? She asked softly. Because someone had to, Elias whispered. That's the point, this thing, it doesn't respect strength, it respects choice. Kathira looked around, noticing how the chamber seemed to respond to them. The lights pulsed gently, almost approvingly. So it's not just a trap, it's a judge, she murmured. Yes, Elias replied, wincing as he stood, and we just passed the first part. They continued deeper into the corridor where the panels began forming shapes, arcs of light that resembled doors or windows. Kathira studied them closely. It's teaching us, she said, or at least testing us to see what we're capable of. Elias nodded. And what humans are capable of is protecting each other, even when it hurts. The corridor opened into another chamber, this one larger, with walls that seemed to stretch upward infinitely. At the center stood a platform, floating slightly above the ground, glowing softly. Symbols surrounded it, shifting as if alive. Kathira approached cautiously. The platform, it's reacting to us, step carefully. Elias moved beside her. Careful means observing, not touching first. Let me analyze it. He scanned the platform, his device beeping rapidly. This is not a simple surface, it's adaptive. It will respond to actions, especially risky ones. Kathira swallowed. Like the trap before? Exactly. Elias pointed to a series of symbols around the platform. See these, they're linked to the energy patterns. If we misstep, it will test us again, but if we act correctly, it may reward us. The team hesitated, unsure how to proceed. Elias looked at Kathira. You lead, I'll follow, but this time we move together, every choice counts. Kathira nodded, heart pounding. She placed her hand lightly on the platform. A soft vibration ran through her arm, almost like a pulse. The symbols around them glowed brighter. Suddenly, a wave of light formed in front of her, creating a barrier that pressed gently against her chest. Elias immediately moved, placing himself between her and the light. The pressure hit him like a wall, forcing him to lean forward to maintain balance. Pain flared in his shoulders and back, but he did not move. Kathira gasped. Elias, stop, you'll hurt yourself. I'm fine, he said through gritted teeth. Just stay calm. The light seemed to adjust, pulsing faster as if trying to break him. Elias' body shook, but his determination did not falter. Slowly, the pulse weakened. The light barrier lifted, dissolving into the air. Kathira's eyes were wide. You endured that. Why? Because it's not the energy that matters, Elias said, breathing heavily. It's the choice to protect someone else. That's what this place values. The platform shifted, revealing a doorway at its far side. Symbols above it glowed warmly, as if approving their passage. Leora approached cautiously. "It's giving us access. We passed its test." Elias nodded, still leaning on Kathira for support. "Not us, me." It's recognizing what a human can do when they choose to protect others, even at their own cost. Kathira looked at him with a new respect. I underestimated humans. You're stronger than I thought, not in body, but in spirit." Elias smiled faintly, exhaustion clear in his eyes. "Strength isn't about muscles or weapons. It's about what you endure for others." The team moved through the newly revealed doorway, entering another chamber that seemed more organic than mechanical. The walls pulsed with soft light, almost like a heartbeat. Symbols floated in the air, shifting and rearranging themselves as they passed. Kathira studied them carefully. "This place, it's teaching us, or testing us, but not for punishment. It wants to see who we are." Elias nodded. "And humans were capable of more than most species think. We endure, we protect, we choose, even when it hurts." The chamber ahead was filled with strange shapes, glowing in patterns that seemed almost alive. Elias' sensors beeped, detecting complex energy flows. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Whatever this place is, it's far from done with us." Kathira placed a hand on his arm. "Then we endure together." Elias nodded, feeling a strange sense of purpose despite the pain in his body. The structure had tested him, measured him, and acknowledged something deeper than strength. And he realized that no matter what trials lay ahead, humans had something the stars themselves could not ignore: the choice to protect one another, even at great personal cost. They moved forward deeper into the megastructure, unaware of what challenges awaited. The walls pulsed faintly as if alive, almost acknowledging them. This place did not forgive mistakes, but it rewarded courage, endurance, and the strength of the heart. And for the first time, Kathira understood that the humans she had studied for so long were capable of more than any of them imagined. The air inside the megastructure seemed thicker now, filled with a silent energy that made every breath feel heavier. Elias and Kathira led the small team deeper into the structure, moving cautiously through corridors that twisted and curved like the veins of some great alien organism. Every wall, every floor panel seemed alive, reacting subtly to their presence. Kathira paused, her hand hovering over a glowing symbol embedded in the wall. She traced the pattern lightly with her fingers, trying to decipher its meaning. "These symbols, they're not static," she said. "They shift. They change depending on who is nearby, how they move, what they feel." Elias nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. His muscles still ached from the previous chamber, but he refused to show weakness. The structure seemed to notice weakness quickly, and he would not give it that satisfaction. "This place is teaching us something," he said slowly. "Or testing us, and I think it measures more than strength, more than skill. It measures our choices, what we're willing to do for one another." Kathira's multifaceted eyes widened. "Like self-sacrifice?" "Yes," Elias replied, "exactly that." The corridor opened into a vast chamber. Unlike the previous spaces, this room felt almost organic. The walls pulsed like living tissue, and streams of soft light flowed across the floor in intricate patterns. In the center floated a platform, slightly above the ground, glowing with a pale blue light. Around it, hovering panels projected shifting symbols into the air. Kathira stepped forward cautiously. "The platform, it's the center. Whatever this structure is, it's designed to test the core of who we are." Elias approached beside her, scanning the patterns with his sensors. "It's measuring response, endurance, and possibly empathy. Watch closely. It reacts not just to touch, but to emotional state, decisions, and timing." Leora, who had been silent until now, studied the glowing symbols carefully. "So it's not dangerous, at least not intentionally. It's looking for something. Perhaps a species that can make choices under pressure, or prioritize others over themselves." Kathira hesitated, then gently pressed a symbol. Immediately, streams of energy began flowing toward her, surrounding her in a shimmering lattice. Her body tensed, her breathing quickened. "Kathira!" Elias shouted, stepping forward. He placed himself in front of her, bracing against the flowing energy. The lattice pressed outward, testing his balance, straining his muscles. He gritted his teeth, refusing to falter. Kathira's voice trembled. "Elias, it's too strong. Move." "I can handle it," he said firmly. "Just trust me." The energy pulsed repeatedly, testing him, measuring his endurance. Elias felt pain spike in his shoulders, back, and legs, but he refused to let go. His body shook, but his will remained steady. The structure seemed to push harder, adjusting to his resilience, seeking a breaking point, but none came. Minutes passed, though it felt like hours. The energy finally slowed, the lattice dissolving into the air. Kathira collapsed to her knees, overwhelmed but unharmed. Elias swayed on his feet, breathing heavily, his body screaming, but his determination was unbroken. Kathira looked at him in awe. Why did you endure that? You could have let it strike me." "Because someone had to," Elias replied, voice hoarse. "Because it values that choice. That's what this thing wants to see, who is willing to protect others, even at their own cost." The chamber was quiet now, but the subtle hum of the structure persisted. The walls pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. The team realized that the structure had acknowledged their passage, not because they were strong, but because Elias had proven the essence of what it sought, the human ability to endure and protect. Kathira's respect for humans deepened. She had studied them for years, but she had underestimated them. Strength in humans was not measured in muscle or weaponry. It was measured in courage, empathy, and endurance. The team advanced carefully, stepping onto the glowing floor patterns. Each step was measured, each movement deliberate. The walls seemed to shift in response, guiding them deeper into the chamber. As they reached another section, the floor split into multiple paths, each lined with symbols. Kathira studied them closely. "Which way?" she asked. Elias frowned. "We can't just guess. Each path is a test, I think. Wrong choice may trigger more energy or, worse, delay our progress." He examined the patterns, noticing subtle differences. "This path here," he said, pointing to one that seemed less aggressive in its light pulse, "reacts slower to presence. It may be the safer route." Kathira nodded. "Then we go together. No one moves ahead alone." As they advanced, the energy in the room began to shift, reacting subtly to their pace and decisions. Floating symbols rotated in the air, some glowing brighter as they approached, others dimming. The chamber seemed alive, adjusting, learning from their actions. Suddenly, a soft pulse of energy enveloped Kathira, forming a barrier around her. Her body stiffened, and she gasped. Elias immediately stepped forward, placing himself in the path of the pulse. The energy struck him, pushing and twisting, testing every ounce of his endurance. Pain flared through his muscles, but he did not falter. Kathira cried out, "Elias, stop, you'll hurt yourself." "I'm fine," he said through gritted teeth. "Keep calm, trust me." The energy pulsed repeatedly, growing stronger as if seeking to break him. His body trembled, but his focus remained. Slowly, the pulse weakened, acknowledging his endurance. Kathira watched, amazement in her eyes. You endured that. Why?" "Because protecting someone else even when it hurts is what humans do," Elias said. "It's what this structure wants to see." The platform in the center of the chamber shifted, revealing a new path. Symbols above it glowed warmly, signaling approval. Leora approached cautiously. "It's recognizing us, or at least recognizing him." Kathira nodded slowly. "I see now this is not punishment. It's testing worthiness, endurance, and choice. And humans, you embody something rare." Elias smiled faintly, wincing as he adjusted his posture. "Strength isn't about being unbreakable. It's about what you endure for others." The team pressed onward, deeper into the structure. The corridors twisted like a living organism, symbols shifting and reacting as they moved. Each step tested their focus, their patience, their coordination. The structure was patient, unrelenting, and observant. Kathira studied the patterns on the walls. "It reacts to our emotions too," she murmured. "If we panic, it will sense it. If we hesitate, it notices." "This is not just a physical trial, it's mental and emotional as well." Elias nodded. "Exactly, and humans, we endure under stress. We endure for others. That's what this place measures, and it respects that." As they approached another chamber, the walls shimmered with soft light. Symbols hovered in midair, forming intricate patterns that seemed almost alive. Sensors detected subtle energy flows. "This is the next challenge," Elias said. "Whatever it is, it's going to test more than our strength. It will test our choices again." Kathira placed a hand on his arm. "Then we endure, together." Elias smiled faintly, feeling a strange sense of purpose despite the pain in his body. The structure had tested him, measured him, and acknowledged something deeper than strength. Humans were capable of endurance, choice, and protection, even in the harshest of circumstances. The team stepped forward into the chamber, unaware of the trials awaiting them. The walls pulsed faintly, almost acknowledging their passage. This place did not forgive mistakes, but it rewarded courage, endurance, and the strength of the heart. Kathira glanced at Elias. I see now, humans are more than survival machines. You are capable of more than most species imagine. Elias nodded. And this structure, it finally understands that. With that, they moved deeper into the megastructure, ready to face whatever the next test would demand, their resolve stronger than ever. The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humans endure, humans protect, and humans inspire even the stars themselves to recognize their worth. The next chamber opened like a doorway into a different world. The walls were no longer metallic, but seemed almost organic, smooth, and slightly translucent. Streams of soft light flowed along the curves, forming pathways that guided the team forward. The floor beneath them glimmered as if embedded with stars, and the air felt warmer, almost alive. Elias and Kathira paused, absorbing the sight. Kathira's many-eyed gaze darted across the patterns, tracing the flow of energy. This place, she murmured, it feels aware. Like it's waiting for us to understand something. Elias nodded slowly. It's teaching us, or rather, it's observing what we already know and measuring how we apply it, not our strength, not our skill, but our choices. Leora glanced around. The structure's scale, it's staggering. Whoever built this, they weren't just creating a building. They were creating a test, or perhaps a message for whoever could survive it. Kathira reached forward, gently touching one of the glowing panels. Her fingers tingled as the light responded, shifting in intricate patterns. Look, she said, it's recording our actions. Every step, every touch, every decision, it's all being cataloged. Elias stepped closer. I think we're starting to understand why. This place, it wasn't made to trap intruders. It was made to find the right species, a species capable of empathy, endurance, and choice. Kathira looked at him, astonished. Empathy, endurance, but why? Because the galaxy, Elias said quietly, has tests it doesn't tell anyone about. Challenges no one even knows exist. And whatever civilization built this, they needed to know who could rise to them. Not who was strongest, but who could endure, who could care for others, who could think beyond themselves. The chamber ahead widened into an open space that stretched into a dome of soft, flowing light. At the center floated a crystalline platform, pulsing with energy. Hovering above it were holographic symbols, forming shapes that resembled star systems, planets, and even figures moving in time. Kathira's eyes widened. This is knowledge. It's showing us history, or maybe instructions. The civilization that made this, they left everything here. Their entire understanding of life, the universe, and their failures. Elias stepped closer, scanning the symbols. Failures? Yes, Kathira replied. These patterns, they show attempts to find a successor species. Many civilizations came before, tried to reach what this structure measures, and failed. They lacked something essential. Elias frowned. Something essential, meaning humans might have it. Kathira nodded slowly. Yes, something no one else passed on. Look at this sequence here. She pointed to a series of glowing symbols. It measures sacrifice for others, coordination under stress, patience under pressure, logic combined with empathy. These civilizations, they never understood this combination, but humans. Elias' heart thumped. Humans endure, they protect, even when it hurts. That's what it wants to see. That's why it reacted to me, to our team. We've shown it something new. Kathira's expression softened. You weren't just brave, Elias. You demonstrated the human essence this structure has been waiting for. You were its measure. Elias shook his head slightly, still feeling soreness through his body. I didn't do anything special. I just did what I would for someone else. That's what humans do. The platform in the center pulsed brighter, and a new pathway opened, lined with floating panels. Symbols rearranged themselves, forming a pattern that seemed almost welcoming. This is the way forward, Leora said. The structure is guiding us. Kathira studied the panels, her fingers hovering above them. The knowledge, it's overwhelming. The builders recorded everything, every attempt, every failure, every choice, and now it's showing us the path. Elias took a deep breath. We need to be careful. The test isn't over. Just because it acknowledged us doesn't mean it's finished. They moved forward, following the glowing path. The walls pulsed in rhythm with their steps, almost like a heartbeat. It was both beautiful and humbling. As they reached the center of the chamber, a projection formed above the crystalline platform. A figure appeared, tall, ethereal, glowing softly, humanoid in form but with features unfamiliar to any species alive today. It gestured, and the team realized it was communicating in ways beyond words, patterns of light, motion, and emotion all at once. Kathira stepped forward cautiously. It's alive, Elias shook his head. Not in the usual sense, it's a record. A consciousness left behind by the builders, a way to communicate their purpose to the species capable of understanding it. The figure projected images of alien civilizations, their efforts to pass the tests, and their eventual failures. Entire societies had attempted to demonstrate empathy, cooperation, and endurance, but none succeeded in the combination the structure required. Kathira gasped. They failed because they could not endure for others even when it mattered most. Their choices were self-centered or too weak under pressure. Elias swallowed. And we humans, we passed, not perfectly but enough to register, enough to be acknowledged. The figure then projected a glowing emblem, showing humans standing together, helping one another, enduring challenges, and making choices that mattered for more than themselves. The symbol pulsed in rhythm with Elias' heartbeat, almost as if recognizing him personally. This is proof, Kathira whispered. The structure is showing us that humans are capable of something the galaxy has never measured before. Elias nodded, feeling a mix of pride and exhaustion. Not because we're the strongest, not because we're the smartest, but because we endure for others. That's our advantage. That's what this structure has been waiting for. The projection shifted, showing the megastructure itself. An enormous network of chambers, pathways, and symbols, spanning light years, all built to find a species capable of passing these trials. The figure hovered over the map, as if guiding them to understand the full scope of its purpose. Kathira turned to Elias. You see, it wasn't just testing pain or strength, it was testing the essence of what it means to endure for others, and humans, you embody that. Elias felt a deep sense of purpose. Every ache, every strain, every choice he had made to protect Kathira, to keep the team together, had mattered. The structure had recognized it. The holographic figure then extended a glowing hand, projecting a path that led further into the megastructure. The panels along the floor illuminated, showing symbols that no other species had been able to activate. This is the way forward, Leora said, her voice quiet with reverence. We are being granted access, the builder's knowledge, it is ours to inherit. Kathira stepped closer to Elias. And all of it because of you, because of what you showed. Elias shook his head, a small smile on his face. I didn't do it alone, all of us, the choices we made together, that's what mattered. But yes, it feels like we've shown something new to this place. The team advanced, walking along the glowing pathway. The chamber's walls pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat, acknowledging their progress. They were entering the heart of the megastructure where knowledge, history, and purpose intertwined. This changes everything, Kathira said softly. The galaxy has never seen a species like humans, and now it knows we exist. Elias glanced at the projection, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. We haven't finished yet, but we've proven that humans are capable of endurance, protection, and choice. That's enough to open doors no one else could, Leora nodded. Then we continue, carefully, together, and we learn everything we can. As they moved forward, the team felt a quiet sense of destiny settle over them. The megastructure had tested them, measured them, and recognized something deeper than strength or intelligence. It had recognized humanity itself. The walls pulsed brighter, symbols flowing in patterns of approval. The path ahead was still unknown, still full of challenges, but one truth had become clear. Humans endured where others failed, and the galaxy was about to take notice. Kathira looked at Elias, eyes wide with respect and understanding. I underestimated humans, I see now. You are the galaxy's greatest surprise. Elias smiled faintly, feeling the pain in his body begin to fade. No, not the greatest, just willing to endure for one another, that's enough. The chamber ahead glowed, the path forward open. The team stepped into it together, ready for whatever trials awaited, their hearts and minds stronger than ever. The megastructure had revealed its purpose. It had shown the failures of the past. And now it had acknowledged humanity, not because of power, but because of the willingness to protect, endure, and choose for others. And for the first time, the galaxy itself might learn the same lesson. Human and alien girl were enemies, until they accidentally bonded in a healing pod.